You know, I took some flack. I took some hate for my Andre Drummond take, where I said he could end up being a negative asset on the floor. He could end up, he just might not fit with the Lakers. It just might not work out. And you know what, Andre Drummond, you might be costing yourself a lot of money. I said all of that. Podcast number 1. You know what? Game one, I'm not going into a huge overreaction, but looking at the stats, and I've got some stats screenshotted right now on my phone because my laptop broke because I've dropped it on the floor 40 times. Anthony Davis plays horrible right now at the 4, and that is something that the Lakers are going to really need to figure out, because when he's at the 5, that's when they're at their best. And so I don't know what they do about Andre Drummond. I don't know if how happy he's going to be playing spot minutes basically as Anthony Davis's backup, if that's what it comes to.
I want to give Korzemba his props because he came in here, very first pod. He roasted the Drummond signing. We all bagged on him. The comment section bagged on him. Hell, I sent my YouTube channel's comment section to bag on him. And he ended up being right. The Lakers are in a bit of a situation here. Drummond as your starting 5 against a Phoenix Suns team that has a traditional center at the center position, no bueno, not the move. Anthony Davis clearly doesn't work at the 4 position whenever the key is clogged up as a result of Andre Drummond and Deandre Ayton doing their thing. So if you ask me, as a Laker fan, the thing I'm looking for tonight is a completely different lineup. Andre Drummond, it's time for you to hit the bench, at least for this series. Your time is going to come. If you want to win a championship, this is the sacrifice you have to make. I want to see Anthony Davis at the 5, Kyle Kuzma potentially at the 4, so he could stretch the floor a little bit.
That big donut from Kyle Kuzma in game 1.
Yeah, 0 of 2 from the field.
Yeah. And wait. Who did Mike say he drafted him over? What was it?
Yeah. That was a wild take, Mike. I'm not going to lie to you. Like Mike.
Who did I say I was going to draft him over?
It was Colin Sexton or
you take him over John
else.
Collins.
Oh, John Collins.
Yeah, it was John Collins, bro.
Dude, I don't want to bag on Mike. He just had my back with Andre Drummond.
I kind of want to bag on Mike, but I'm gonna let him slide. I just want to add on that I do agree. I think Korzemba did make some great points about Drummond. I thought we had great points too. One of my points was when we were talking Drummond was that, he's going to have some series that are in his favor. This might not be one of those series. I think Flight Mike is right. I would love to see AD play the 5 a little more. But, I mean, even with Drummond in the game, I know the spacing isn't great. I want to see AD take advantage of Jay Crowder. I know they're sending help from Deandre Ayton. I know that, again, the spacing's not great. But I don't think Andre Drummond playing is an excuse for Anthony Davis to play as poorly as he did. All in all, I just think AD has to play a more complete game. Even Anthony Davis agrees that, he could play better, and he's fully capable of playing with Drummond. So
he said he was horrible. Yeah, he said, you know what? Yeah. I always appreciate when guys are like, that loss is on me. Boom. Simple as that. Because he did play horribly. Now, my whole thing with Anthony Davis is, I'm not gonna go out and rule out and say that the Andre Drummond Anthony Davis thing can't work out. It's just for some reason Anthony Davis, which actually kind of makes sense because we all know about Anthony Davis's huge growth spurt during high school, so he kind of has a little bit of a guard in a big man mentality, and he doesn't like playing the 5. We've known this forever. Anthony Davis has never liked playing the 5. In order to keep Anthony Davis happy, you basically have to load your roster with centers so that he doesn't play the 5. We've seen Marc Gasol, Andre Drummond, Montrezl Harrell. The Lakers have a bunch of centers so that Anthony Davis doesn't play the 5, which makes no sense because I have numbers right here actually. All right. Makes no sense because as we all know, I don't even really need to say these numbers. Anthony Davis is best at the 5. All right. 2020 regular season, Anthony Davis at the 4, Lakers net rating plus 8.3. Davis at the 5, Lakers net rating plus 15.8. Okay? They literally become championship worthy, championship best team with Anthony Davis at the 5. This year's regular season, all right? Anthony Davis at the 4 plus 4.9 net rating. All right? Anthony Davis at the 5 plus 16.9. Even better than last year's postseason. But you know what the problem is? This year during the regular season, Anthony Davis played 10% of his minutes at the center position. 10%. That is a problem. That is something that needs to be fixed in the postseason. And it's something with his mentality, man. I don't know what goes on, but suddenly he starts acting like he's a shooting guard or something. Starts spotting up a lot more, he just doesn't do what makes him an incredible, amazing basketball player. He just stops doing it.
And
well, I think go ahead.
I was just going to say, and believe it or not, I don't have the stats right in front of me, but Anthony Davis isn't a great deep shooter. He's not a great shooter from distance at all. Last year's bubble run was an anomaly. I think he shot like 40% from the 3-point line, like 50% on free throw line jumpers extended. But when it comes to AD at the 5, I don't think that's the simple solution for this series, because I think DeAndre Ayton poses a significant problem for AD at the 5. DeAndre Ayton is bigger than Davis. He's stronger than Davis. He's an improved post defender. You know, a lot of his defensive work hasn't gotten talked about enough. Since he's came into the league, he's completely changed his game for the Phoenix Suns. Like, he is not the same player since entering the league. You know, everybody viewed him as a defensive liability. He's no longer that. I actually think he has a solid shot to continue matching up and guarding Davis one-on-one. And if you're the Lakers, are you just going to let Davis continue to take that beating from DeAndre Ayton? Or are you going to play Marc Gasol? Or are you going to try to continue to get Drummond involved? Like, what's the answer for them there?
So, first of all, I disagree with you on DeAndre Ayton having Anthony Davis's number defensively. You know, maybe in that first game he did, but I don't necessarily think that's officially set in stone that DeAndre Ayton is going to consistently destroy Anthony Davis defensively, because that's not necessarily what DeAndre Ayton's known for, at least not up until this point. Maybe this
he's gotten a lot better. His defensive numbers are great, Mike.
Coop, we have to remember here. Remember, Mike hates DeAndre Ayton. All right, just as much as you love Julius Randle, Mike hates DeAndre Ayton. Remember?
I don't hate DeAndre Ayton.
Directly compared him to Andre Drummond and said DeAndre Ayton.
I did compare him to Andre Drummond.
Yeah, remember?
I did compare him to Andre Drummond.
Okay,
yes,
please remember.
I did.
You did compare him.
I did compare him to Andre Drummond, unless, and I think he can eventually at some point in his career, until he is able to develop a consistent jump shot, which I think he has the potential to do so.
Clint Capella
and I've said it over and over again.
Consistent jump shot, and he still is a great. He's not a
great
player.
He's not a jump shot away.
Yeah. Not every center needs a jump shot. Like, would it make him better? Of course, but what he does is great.
I'm saying at this stage of his career, I'm not comparing him to Andre Drummond now. I'm comparing him to like Andre Drummond at the height of his powers, and that's more of a.
But the NBA was different back then. So Andre Drummond at the height of his powers
2016
was NBA when you could. I mean, like 2015, 20, back then,
2016.
I guess. I mean, it still was the NBA is evolving. That point, Andre Drummond's becoming more and more of that dinosaur type player. I don't want to rag on him too much. He gets you to Andre Drummond. First of all, has a reputation of putting up the most hollow stats. I don't want to hate on him too much. He could give you quality spot minutes for sure at the center position. But the difference between him and DeAndre Ayton is able to, play 30, 35, 36 minutes and put up a huge contribution. A potentially, game-winning contribution in game one. Man was talked about all over the place. He was incredibly impressive. And he surprised a lot of people. So, I'm not saying anything really against you even comparing him to Andre Drummond, because if you were reading the comments, posting Reddit threads, social media, everyone was like, oh, damn, DeAndre Ayton came to play. And that's going to be, a huge X factor going forward. Is DeAndre Ayton going to keep playing the way he's playing? Is he going to, be that number one pick that he was? And get that kind of are they going to get that kind of contribution for him, or is Anthony Davis going to just start smacking him? Because the last time Anthony Davis, I saw this stat too, the last time Anthony Davis had such a poor shooting game, like around 30% shooting, whatever, was against Portland in game one, and then he proceeded to average around 33 points per game the rest of the series and shot over 60% and just smoked the Blazers. So we'll see. This could just be game one overreactions. So
I do think it's a game one or overreaction.
It happens all the time. Yeah.
if there's one thing I noticed from last year's playoff run, and I understand, different circumstances, Disney World, Mickey Mouse ring, whatever, but last year, this is the first time I heard of a Disney. I thought that was really creative. But the one thing I noticed the most was the Lakers would do something in game one. It clearly wouldn't work. They would make the appropriate adjustment. And Frank Vogel just has proven to me historically that he is remarkable at making those adjustments. As to what Korzemba is saying about Drummond, I think it's important to remind everyone, this isn't a max contract player. This is a guy that we signed for the vet minimum. He could potentially be starter caliber. He could potentially not be starting caliber. Something else that I want to point out to you guys is Marc Gasol didn't play at all in game one. 0 minutes. Montrezl Harrell played 15 minutes. Drummond played 19 minutes. Davis played 14 minutes, and Gasol played nothing. So yesterday at practice, as a matter of fact, Andre Drummond even hinted that there's going to be a big lineup change. And this is his exact quote, a lot of rationalization here, but he said, "I think with the big lineup, we just didn't have enough time to work on it. So something that we're just kind of throwing out there with little time and little experience. And I think we're doing a good job of figuring it out on the fly, despite us being in the playoffs right now. Obviously, lineup changes are going to happen, and we're going to do whatever it takes to win. So it's just feeling it out and what's best for the team." Doesn't sound like Andre Drummond's really stamping his feet, complaining that he might not start.
We'll see, man.
When it comes
he's looking for a bag. That's all I'm saying. Looking for a bag.
When it comes to AD and Deandre Ayton, I don't want to make it seem like I think Deandre Ayton's going to lock up AD. I think AD is bouncing back for sure. I'm just saying that if Deandre Ayton continues playing at this level, then I think the Lakers are in trouble. And as long as Deandre Ayton continues to make life tough for Anthony Davis, I think the Lakers are going to have a lot of problems going forward. Also, we got to talk Bron. We're going to do that in a second, I'm sure. But
I would like to talk Bridges with Bron.
When it comes to AD, how many times in the playoffs has he gone up against somebody that has similar size, similar length, is as athletic and as mobile as Ayton? And I mean, like that's just tough to go against if you're AD, because surely every time he's played, most of the times he's played somebody in the playoffs, he's always had some sort of advantage on them. Whereas when it comes to Ayton, I feel like he does a good job of at least giving him a shot.
So honestly, it's really hard for me to comment on it because so far we're only one game in. And I believe that the Lakers are very dependent on their ability to make adjustments. So hopefully I'm right about this, and hopefully we see something different tonight. But as to now, I can't answer that this pod. I could potentially answer that next pod.
Yeah. So what did you want to say about? I agree. I think we're all talked out with this. Like, I think there's only so much we can say. We'll see what happens.
Well,
we'll see if AD rebounds. But I do want to. What did you want to say about Bron?
Well, when it comes to Bron, I feel like he's been doing so much for this Lakers team for so long that when he has like an average game, people are like, "Oh no, the sky is falling. What's going on with LeBron James?" Contrary to popular belief, I actually felt like he had a very solid game one. And I think I've heard comments from Vogel or players on the Lakers that, his ankle is still bothering him. Now, we know historically Bron hasn't always put the best game one on paper. I'm interested to see what happens going forward with LeBron James, because I think, obviously he's going to be an X factor for this series, but I'm not sure the Lakers have shown me the ability to create offense outside of him just yet in these playoffs.
If you're still here while the music is cued, here are 2 videos I think you are definitely going to enjoy. Make sure to click on one of them. Again, I know you're gonna love it. And other than that, have a great day and peace.